This is Nonverbal Communication by Mdavis. I have 4 images that I am kind of picking apart to pick out the different nonverbal aspects of it, such as body language, gestures, eye contact, different aspects, as well as just breaking it apart. So in this first image, I named it The Working Man. And I named it this because this man looks like he is a blacksmith or a farrier. And I say this because he's in a barn or a shop of some sort. He's got an apron on the front that would be made of leather, and it looks like it's tied behind his back, as well as there's a piece of steel in front of him and a hammer in his hand. He looks like an older gentleman, and I can tell this because he's got wrinkles on his face. And I would say this photo is set in the early 1900s. Just based off of his appearance, he's got a shirt, his collar is popped up through his work attire, and he looks like he's wearing a vest underneath the apron. His appearance, he looks dirty, and that's because he's got stains all over his shirt. He looks bald, and that's because underneath of his hat, above his ear, it doesn't look like he has any hair there, and he looks hot. And I say this because he has the emotion on his face. Even though it's fixated, he kind of looks uncomfortable. His facial expression, I would say that he's thinking, because his eyes are focused and fixated on his job or the object that he's trying to, I would say, hit with a hammer. His gesture would be that he is working, but he looks confident as well while he's working. He's got his shoulders back, his eyes fixated, and he looks just overall confident in what he's doing. His physical distance from the person taking the picture, I would say maybe not even a few feet. It's a little bit difficult to tell. In this next slide, I named it The Young Worker, and I named this slide this because he looks very young in the photograph. My first impression was, of course, that he was young. He looks like a coal miner because of the headlamp, the cars next to him, the lunch pail, and just his clothing attire. And I would say maybe this is set in the early 1920s. His appearance, he looks cold, and that is because he's got on, it looks like multiple layers of clothing. He looks also that he has an injury to a right eye, to his right eye. When you zoom up on the picture, it's very squinted. He looks excited to either work or get off of work. And he also looks confident. He's got his shoulders back and he's got one arm on his hip. So he's confident, but he's either waiting for something or just posing overall for the camera. His personal hygiene, he looks dirty, of course. His movement, he is posing for the camera, like I said earlier, maybe waiting for something. His facial expression, even though it's kind of vague, you can really see the smile if you zoom up on the image. His body language, he looks very relaxed. And the physical distance from him to the camera, I would say maybe 5 or 10 feet. It was a little bit difficult for me to decipher. I named this a tired lady. My first impression is that she's very hot and sweaty, and you can even kind of see it in the picture, the way the sunlight hits it, that she's sweaty. In her face, she looks tired. Maybe she just got done or is taking a break. She is definitely older, and you can tell that too by the wrinkles that are underneath her eyes and around her eyes, as well as under her nose, above her mouth. And then she's got a little bit on the sides too. And I'm going to say this is set in the 1800s. Not exactly sure on the date, but somewhere around that time frame. Her appearance, she looks poor, but she does look like a hard worker. And I want to say she looks like a hard worker just based on the way that she is standing, how she's sweaty. She looks very tired. Just her overall general appearance to me looks like she's hardworking. She also has tattered clothing as well, so that shows as well. Her personal hygiene, she looks like she's got very little, and back in those days they didn't shower every day. She's got matted hair, and once again she's sweating. Her facial expression, she looks very vague in that. She looks a little bit empty to me, but she's also squinting as well, but she looks very stern. In her gestures, she's got her hand on her hip, so I think she's waiting for someone or something, or she's just tired. And the physical distance from her to the camera is maybe 2 feet. So I named this the woman in the photo. It was a bit harder for me to decipher as in body language. In this photo, she looks like she's sitting upright. She looks happy, and that's also because she's posing for the photo. She's got her hands on her lap on her side, and I'm going to say this is in the 1950s. Her appearance is well groomed. She's got ruffles around her neck. Her hair's not a mess, pretty much. She's got earrings in, so I'm going to say she's above poverty level, and she's got straight teeth. Once again, her hand is on her lap. She looks like she's possibly uncomfortable just by the way that her hand is grasping the other one. And her legs are crossed, which could be formality or that, she just is uncomfortable. Her facial expression, she looks happy, but that looks forced because if you zoom in on the photo and you just look at her eyes, she just doesn't look 100% happy. The physical distance from her to the camera, maybe 10 feet, give or take. And that is it. Thank you for watching.